Released exclusively in Japan on March 4th, 1999 for the PlayStation 1, Pepsiman is a 3D platformer that plays like an endless runner. Pepsiman himself was the mascot for Pepsi in Japan. He was a superhero that helped quench the thirst of people by shooting Pepsi out of his hands. Because nothing quenches thirst like the nice, crisp, high-fructose corn syrup taste of a Pepsi. Then he would get hurt. A lot. Like, seriously, the only joke with these commercials is that Pepsiman is the worst superhero ever. But regardless of how bad he was at his job, he was popular enough to get his own game. The game in question was developed by Kid, who would later go on to make the Infinity series. Another person that worked on this game as a 3D artist was Kotaro Ushikoshi, the man that went on to make Zero Escape and Punchline. That's insane, and it's a shame I pointed that out at the beginning of the video, because Pepsiman is not that deep of a game. So rejoice, people at home, you don't have to hear my annoying voices along this week. But without further delay, let us reminisce on Pepsiman. There isn't one. I mean, not technically. At the beginning of each stage, somebody alerts Pepsiman, in English by the way, that people need his help, and so he's off. Stage 1, he helps people when a Pepsi vending machine has run dry. Stage 2, he helps people who just escaped a burning building. Stage 3, he helps people who had to take an emergency landing in the desert. And in Stage 4, Pepsiman must save the citizens of Pepsi City after the main computer operating the city goes haywire. It's dumb, it's silly, it's Pepsiman. What did you honestly expect? Pepsiman is as simple as a game as you could probably get. As previously mentioned, there are 4 stages. Each stage is comprised of 2 acts called scenes. You have a set amount of time to reach the end of the scene and complete your goal. You run forward on a set path collecting Pepsi cans and avoiding hazards. You have a slide that can knock pedestrians and other small obstacles out of your way, and you can also speed up as well as slow down. Much like the commercials Pepsiman comes from, he will occasionally find himself in wacky scenarios to spice up the game. Though be warned, some of these scenarios will reverse your controls. Your health is represented by the Pepsi logo at the top of the screen, that gets smaller as you get hurt. You could take up to 3 hits before losing a life, though speeding vehicles will instantly kill you. You could heal 1 bit of damage by collecting 10 Pepsi cans, and after a scene, if you collected 30 Pepsi cans, you'll gain an extra life. If you end up losing all your lives, you start at the beginning of the scene you died in. After completing the 2 scenes, you have what is essentially a boss, where something is chasing you while you need to avoid obstacles. After outrunning the threat, you complete the stage and are treated to an FMV of this American dude that enjoys the show you just put for him. So in return, he spots a Pepsi slogan and tells you to keep going. Repeat this cycle 3 more times and congrats, you've beaten Pepsiman. That being said, this game is pretty hard. Considering this game is about 30 minutes long, they had to make it hard to beat so you would feel like you got your money's worth. Because of this, the game goes from an average on-rails platformer to a Nintendo hard claustrophobic hodgepodge that tests your reflexes like nothing else by the end of the game. It's quite a trip, and is a pretty enjoyable romp, but be prepared to die a lot. All the music in this game is remixes of the Pepsiman theme, and I like all of the themes. The odd surfer feel of the first stage, the funky hip-hop vibe of the second stage, the calypso-esque vibe of the third stage, and the futuristic vibe of the fourth stage make for a truly diverse and fun soundtrack. I love listening to this soundtrack, with stage 2 being my favorite. Though I wish the tracks were a bit longer than a minute, or, you know, didn't just fade out and then loop from the beginning after a few seconds. Even for PS1, that seems kinda lazy. Pepsiman is a straightforward character with a straightforward game. While the character went on to become a meme loved by the internet, the game itself received average reviews, and when average reviews along with a cult following hit a game that's only in Japan, it comes together into a lovely concoction of you are definitely not buying this game. And while that price isn't as bad as other obscure games, save your money. Just emulate the game. Because this game is not worth $70. But it is worth a look, even if it's just to see a marketing mascot from Japan that isn't Segata Sanshiro. And with that, that is all I have to say about Pepsiman. Let me know what you guys think about Pepsiman, and you know what, just tell me what kind of soda you like. But only if you want to. Guys, be safe out there, and thank you so much for watching.
That's